Welcome students, today I will be your teacher and my name is SmokedAlive. This is for all you beginners here, so go ahead and get your notebook out. The title of this lesson is Makeup 101 for Beginners. Alright class, number 1 is primer. Primer is meant to improve the foundation's application process. It's also going to add longevity to your makeup and help it stay on all day. And if you have dry, nasty, crusty skin, this is going to bring your skin to life and give it a nice new glow like a baby's butt. Number 2 is concealer. Concealer is used to mask dark circles and acne. Who has acne? Me. Shh. You're interrupting me. Lights. My students over here, they're causing problems. Excuse me. So concealer has more coverage than foundation. So you're going to want to apply concealer before your foundation where you need the extra coverage, because if you do it all over, you're going to look like a cake face. So when you're trying to cover up acne, you won't want to use a beauty blender, because as soon as you go over it with a beauty blender, it's going to take the coverage away. And you're not going to want to go in with a really coarse brush either and swivel. You're just going to want to either press in with your finger, which that can cause more acne if it is not clean, or you will want to get a brush and simply just press in the concealer versus buffing it in, so you keep that amount of coverage over the acne, so when your foundation goes over it, you have a really nice base. I really hope you have your notebooks for this one, because if you miss this, you're gonna look really weird. Number 3 is foundation. Foundation is meant to create an all-over even complexion on the skin. So if you want to look like a doll, you want to look really young, and you want to look plastic, then apply the foundation like that. The way to get the most seamless blend on your foundation, I believe, is a beauty blender, a Real Technique sponge, a Morphe one, and pressing into the skin versus wiping or circling motions. I always bring my foundation down my neck just a tiny bit just to make sure it is nice and blended. And if you do have some extra skin here, make sure that matches as well. Alright students, number 4, you might get a little confused. It is highlighting concealer. That is number 4. You're saying concealer plus highlighting concealer? Why so many products? Well, I will tell you. You can use the same product as you already have, so you only need one concealer, but you are going to be applying concealer on the high points of your face. So this is what I like to call highlighting concealer. This is going to give you a facelift, it's going to add dimension, it's going to create a effect. Did that make sense? Basically, our face is not meant to be a blank canvas like it is when you put foundation. It's all one color. You want dimension, you want to look lifelike, you want to look more real. So everywhere you want to lift and you want to stand out, you are going to apply the highlighting concealer. Something to note, if you do not like how big your forehead is, you will not want to put any concealer here because you're going to be highlighting that area. Number 5 is powder. Powder is going to set the makeup. It's going to set everything that you have done thus far, and it is going to make your makeup last all day. So here's a step where you would take a powder and set everything, but I personally don't like to set my entire face because of how dry my skin is. But this is a step where you would set your cheeks, your forehead, all of that with a powder, and then go in and bake. Now for all my extra girls out there, this is number 6. And that is baking. Baking is going to be for my oily girls. Girls that have very oily skin where you feel like your makeup is just a sloppy mess after a few hours. Baking is going to be your best friend. Baking is going to be for people that want to emphasize parts of their face like this right here. It is emphasized because I baked this area. So if you want to further bring things out, further set the skin and make it last all day, that is what baking is. I'm taking the Maybelline Fit Me powder. Oh, and if you have a ton of creasing, you're very wrinkly, things like that, sometimes baking can help. Don't put too much powder, but just enough to just set everything to where the creases will take a little bit longer to break down versus if you were just to put a powder over it. Number 7. Is that 7 to you guys or? I don't know. Number 7, I'm the teacher, I should know. Number 7 is bronzer. Bronzer is simple. It is bringing life back into the skin. It's going to give you a nice sun-kissed glow. It's going to make you look like you've been hanging out at the beach. And who doesn't like to look like a glowing goddess? I don't know. I'm taking the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer and the Wet n Wild Powder Brush. And if your forehead is very small, you might not want to bring bronzer or contour around here because it's going to shrink your forehead. Number 8 is contour. Now, contouring is one of my personal favorites, and contour is, again, where we're going to add depth to the skin. You're going to be enhancing the natural shadows of your face. So anything on your face you don't want to stand out, you're going to apply shadow. I'm taking the Wet n Wild Contour Kit with the e.l.f. powder brush. I personally love contouring with this, but this isn't a typical contour brush. A typical contour brush is going to be something angled like this. This is the Sedona Lace 850, which is also a great one. Contour slims and sculpts the face. As you can see, my cheekbones are very sculpted. I don't naturally have these. This is all makeup, girls. You can make your forehead smaller, your nose smaller, your chin smaller, whatever you want to disappear, you contour. I'm just adding extra shading right in here, right at the top, the natural places where I'm going to get the most darkness as I'm walking throughout the day. I will take a little bit right along the double chin area, and then I will sweep just the excess right around the jawline to make that look a little bit smaller. You can really contour your nose, but I personally don't. But there are plenty of nose contour videos out there if you would like to really learn how to make your nose look a lot thinner, different shape, all of that. There's a ton of videos out there for that. Number 9 is cleanup. Now, cleanup is my personal favorite, as you can tell, because I just said that about contour. Contour and cleanup kind of go hand in hand to me, but I've mentioned it multiple times. This area right here, do you see how sharp that contour is? Bam! If you want a nice sharp contour, you don't want your bronzer looking muddy, you feel like you apply your bronzer and it's just all crazy and messy and you're like, I look like I put dirt all over my face, that is what cleanup is going to do. Alright students, stay focused, pay attention, don't talk, keep your notebooks out, we are almost done. Number 10 is blush. So blush is meant to enhance your cheeks. It's going to bring back a more natural element that a lot of us already have. You always hear the rosy cheeks if you're someone that blushes a lot. Blush, blush, get it? So it's just going to add a natural element to the cheeks to make you look a little bit more lively and a little bit more natural. I'm taking the Morphe Blush Trio in Pop of Pink. So I just want to show you guys the difference that blush makes to the cheeks. It lifts everything, it pulls it forward, and also adds even more dimension and color. And why are we adding something that our skin already has? Well, let me tell you. Because if you put foundation, powder, contour, and all that on, all of a sudden your natural flush is gone. That rhymed. So we're putting that right back. I personally apply my blush all the way up, the heaviest point here, and then I swoop it up to give that more elongated look, but you don't have to do that. Number 11 is wisping away. So that is going to be wisping away all the powder that we baked with. You don't want to keep it on too long. If you're someone that has really dry skin, you can remove it earlier than I did in this video, but it's just going to be making sure you don't forget to remove all the excess powder all over your face, or you're going to look like a powdered donut. Number 12. This one's really my favorite. Highlighting powder. Now you're like, highlighting concealer, highlighting powder, what is the difference? Well, do you see this shimmery goodness all over my face? That is what highlighting powder is. You're not going to apply highlighting powder all over where you place concealer, because you're going to look like a greasy chicken. I'm taking the ColourPop highlighter in Flexitarian. So you're going to put it at the top of your cheekbones, your nose, and just add a little bit of glow and dimension to the skin. So if you're someone that's very oily, tone it down. Don't put it on your nose. Don't put it on your chin like me. But you can kind of put as much highlight on your face as you want, and it's just going to emphasize those high points of your face even more so than the highlighting concealer did. With this particular highlighter, you use your finger, but if you're not going to, you'll want to use a brush like this. This is the Real Technique setting brush. Any small little brush you have, just hit the points of the cheek. You guys are doing so good. Thank you for being quiet and listening. Number 13 is setting spray. So setting spray is designed to make everything you just did on your face soak in. Because I know a lot of you beginners are like, that is a lot of product. But once you get used to it, it's nothing, girl. But you don't want to leave all of it on your face without setting it because it can begin to look a bit cakey. I'm taking the Morphe setting spray. So that's where we're going to spray that glorious setting spray. It's going to sink everything into the skin, and it's also going to make it last longer. That lash is doing something weird. Don't do everything I do, kids. If you're doing all these steps that I'm talking about, but you're not doing setting spray and you're noticing that your makeup is breaking apart quickly, get a setting spray. Also, try multiple out because some might not work for you. You might have more oily skin, so don't get a dewy setting spray. So get what your skin needs for your skin type. Alright class, the bell is about to ring. Thank you so much for sitting with me today. I hope you learned a lot. If you have any questions, comment down below and I will answer all of them for you. And I hope you guys leave this video and this class feeling ready and I don't know what I'm trying to say, ready and powerful and confident to go try your makeup and make it last all day and look flawless. Don't forget to cake up that makeup. Oh, if you like this teaching series, please let me know because I have plenty more things we could go over. 101 smoky eye, the brushes you need, all of that goodness. Let a girl know.